Welcome to our Trump Briefing Show. Today, we're diving into some hot topics shaking up the news world. First up, the United Steelworkers Union is rallying for workers' rights, emphasizing the importance of their involvement in Canada's industrial plans. They're calling for swift action to protect industries and ensure fair, unionized jobs amid economic challenges. Next, Canada's sovereignty is under the spotlight as U.S. President Donald Trump proposes a massive missile defense deal, costing billions. Canadian officials are cautious, emphasizing that the true costs are still unknown and reaffirming their independence in defense matters. It's a tense moment for Canadian-U.S. relations. Finally, the controversy around Trump's pardons continues to escalate. The former president is considering full clemency for January 6 rioters and wealthy individuals like Todd and Julie Chrisley, sparking debates over justice, politics, and the future of American democracy. Critics warn these pardons could undermine accountability and threaten democratic stability. Please continue to watch for more detailed coverage. The Toronto Star reports on the United Steelworkers Union's critique of the recent Canadian throne speech, emphasizing that while the government's commitments to industrial strategy, housing, and clean energy are promising, they lack concrete action and meaningful worker involvement. Marty Warren, USW's national director, highlights the urgency for policies that protect Canadian industries from U.S. trade aggression, reform employment insurance, and bolster labor rights amid economic uncertainty. The union warns that measures to cut red tape and reduce public sector growth could undermine essential services and community resilience, stressing that workers must be central in shaping these initiatives to ensure fair, unionized jobs and a stronger economy. CBC details Canada's firm stance on sovereignty amidst Donald Trump's provocative proposal to make the country the 51st state in exchange for access to a missile defense system costing $61 billion. Defense Minister David McGuinty affirms that Canada will control its defense spending and decisions, asserting that the country's focus remains on safeguarding its independence and security. Critics, including Liberal MPs, decry Trump's suggestion as an outrageous bribe, underlining that Canada's sovereignty must not be compromised for military or financial gains. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mark Carney discusses efforts to diversify defense procurement through European alliances, aiming to reduce reliance on the U.S., reflecting a strategic move to protect Canada's national interests. The Independent reports on the controversial efforts by Donald Trump's administration to grant full clemency to January 6 Capitol rioters, including Stuart Rhodes, founder of the far-right Oath Keepers militia. The pardon attorney, Ed Martin, is reviewing applications for Rhodes and other extremists convicted of seditious conspiracy, with some seeking to erase their roles in the violent insurrection. Rhodes's involvement in planning and encouraging armed resistance against the election results, along with his calls for Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act, underscores the dangerous influence of these extremist figures. Judges have condemned the pardons, warning that they threaten democracy and distort accountability, as Trump's ongoing pardoning spree continues to stir controversy and challenge the integrity of the justice system. The Independent reports on the intriguing and somewhat humorous story of President Donald Trump's expected pardon of Todd and Julie Chrisley, a wealthy couple known for their reality TV show, Chrisley Knows Best, who are currently serving lengthy prison sentences for tax evasion and bank fraud. The couple's daughter, Savannah Chrisley, fervently campaigned for their clemency, sharing that Trump told her parents didn't look like terrorists and expressed a desire to grant them the full pardon. This personal appeal was bolstered by the involvement of criminal justice reform advocate Alice Marie Johnson, who previously received Trump's clemency. The story underscores the political favoritism and the perception of corruption surrounding the pardons, especially given the couple's staunch support for Trump, which critics argue exemplifies blatant corruption. The article vividly captures the emotional and political nuances of the case, including the heartfelt phone calls from the president and the couple's children, and it highlights the ongoing debate about justice, political influence, and the spectacle of presidential pardons. Deutsche Welle details Germany's strategic support for Ukraine amidst ongoing conflict with Russia, emphasizing Chancellor Friedrich Merz's commitment to bolstering Ukrainian defense capabilities. Merz's visit to Kiev marks a firm stance on backing Ukraine's sovereignty, with promises to facilitate joint production of long-range missiles and to continue financing crucial military and communication systems like Starlink. The report also explores Germany's internal debate over supplying long-range Taurus missiles, with Merz advocating for their delivery despite previous government hesitations rooted in fears of escalating the war. The narrative vividly depicts Merz's active engagement in bolstering Ukraine's military resilience and pressuring Russia, contrasting with the cautious approach of his predecessor. The article also touches on broader European dynamics, including the tension between diplomatic negotiations and military preparedness, as well as Trump's recent comments criticizing Putin's actions, illustrating the complex geopolitical chess game involving Germany, the U.S., and Ukraine. The Toronto Star covers the evolving and contentious discussions around Donald Trump's proposed Golden Dome missile defense system, a costly project modeled after Israel's Iron Dome, which could cost upwards of $500 billion over 2 decades. Defense Minister David McGuinty expresses uncertainty about Canada's financial commitment, with Trump suggesting that joining the project as a sovereign nation might cost $61 billion, or nothing if Canada were to become a U.S. state, a proposal met with skepticism by Canadian leaders. Meanwhile, political tensions and strategic calculations remain high, as officials weigh the enormous costs against potential security benefits. The article highlights the broader implications of Trump's missile defense ambitions, the political debates surrounding national security spending, and the ongoing uncertainty about Canada's role in this ambitious but financially daunting project, underscoring the complex interplay of international diplomacy and defense strategy in North America. CNN reports that the UN, through the International Labour Organization, foresees a bleak future for global employment, predicting a loss of 7 million jobs this year due to the economic slowdown caused by the U.S.-China trade war. The trade tensions, characterized by President Trump's escalating tariffs and unpredictable trade policies, have led to a diminished global GDP growth rate and increased economic uncertainty. Nearly 84 million jobs are at risk, especially in the Asia-Pacific and North American regions, as businesses become more cautious about hiring amid the volatile trade environment. The ripple effects of these tariffs threaten to destabilize labor markets worldwide, with the UN warning that continued geopolitical tensions could deepen economic woes and further hinder job creation. Meanwhile, CNN also highlights the escalating tensions between the US and Russia over Ukraine, with Kremlin officials criticizing President Trump's comments about Putin and the Ukrainian conflict. Yuri Ushakov, a top Kremlin aide, accused Trump of being insufficiently informed about Russia's military actions in Ukraine, suggesting that the U.S. president's remarks about Putin playing with fire are based on a skewed perception. The situation has worsened as Russia intensifies its attacks on Ukrainian cities, targeting civilians with drone and missile strikes that have resulted in tragic casualties, including children. Trump's blunt criticism of Putin's actions, calling him absolutely crazy, has further inflamed tensions, prompting Russia's Dmitry Medvedev to warn of the risk of World War III, underscoring the dangerous escalation of rhetoric and military activity in the region. The Independent reports a fierce backlash from Fox News personalities against CBS journalist Scott Pelley after his commencement speech at Wake Forest, where he warned that free speech and democratic institutions are under attack in America. Fox hosts, including Kayleigh McEnany and Laura Ingraham, called for Pelley's arrest and the cancellation of 60 Minutes, accusing him of spreading anti-Trump rhetoric and undermining the nation's core values. The controversy was fueled by Pelley's remarks criticizing the erosion of the rule of law, the suppression of diversity and inclusion, and the perceived attack on journalism itself, comments that sharply contrasted with the conservative narrative that seeks to portray the media as a victim of liberal bias and government overreach. This ideological clash exemplifies the ongoing culture war, as Fox News amplifies outrage over perceived threats to free speech, framing it as part of a broader attack on traditional American values and conservative voices. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Scrolling through the headlines, another crazy day. 6 degrees of stories, connecting in their way. From the weather to the sports, and everything we see. People making news on TV screens for free. 6 degree, whoa. touch it all. Big and small they call, from city lights to countryside. We're connected